controversy surrounds case of man wrongfully deported by U.S. to El Salvador.
A Maryland man is trying to return to the United States after being mistakenly deported to El Salvador last month. However, that effort faced a major setback on April 14th, when El Salvador's president announced that the man would be held in one of the country's notorious prisons. According to CNN on April 14th, the statement by El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele marked a significant turning point in the legal battle surrounding Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, who is becoming a political pawn in President Donald Trump's push to significantly expand presidential powers over immigration amid his large-scale deportation campaign. During a meeting with Trump in the Oval Office, President Bukele told reporters that while he had the authority to release Abrego Garcia, his administration had no interest in freeing individuals considered terrorists who are held in El Salvador. U.S. officials have accused Abrego Garcia of being a member of the MS-13 gang, a group that the Trump administration has designated as a foreign terrorist organization. However, Abrego Garcia's lawyers have disputed the allegation, and at least one federal judge has expressed skepticism. Abrego Garcia, a citizen of El Salvador, entered the United States illegally around 2011. However, in 2019, an immigration judge, after reviewing the evidence, ruled to suspend his deportation order. This meant that Abrego Garcia could not be deported to El Salvador, although he could potentially be removed to another country. The judge concluded that a gang in his hometown had targeted him and threatened to kill him because his family ran a pupusa business. U.S. authorities arrested Abrego Garcia on March 12th and, a few days later, placed him on one of 3 flights to El Salvador. The administration claimed he had been detained alongside other senior gang members and that a credible source had confirmed he was affiliated with MS-13. Later, his wife recognized him in a photo showing new detainees at the notorious Secot prison in El Salvador. Late last month, Abrego Garcia and his family filed a lawsuit against several officials in President Trump's administration, seeking his return to the U.S. District Judge Paula Sinis, appointed during President Barack Obama's term, ruled that deporting Abrego Garcia to El Salvador was unlawful and ordered the government to return him to the United States by 11:59 p.m. on March 31st. After an appeal was filed, the Supreme Court temporarily paused the deadline and upheld Judge Sinis's directive, but did not set a new deadline, stating that her ruling was unclear and required clarification. The Supreme Court emphasized that Judge Sinis was correct in ordering the government to facilitate Abrego Garcia's release from detention in El Salvador, and to ensure his case was handled as if he had never been removed. No justices publicly dissented from the ruling, but 3 liberal justices criticized the administration's actions in the case. When the case was returned to Judge Sinis, she issued a new order requiring the administration to take all possible steps to facilitate Abrego Garcia's return. She instructed the government to submit a sworn declaration from someone with direct knowledge of the steps taken or to be taken to bring him back to the U.S. The administration failed to submit the sworn statement as ordered, prompting the judge to mandate that the government provide daily updates so she could monitor the progress of the ruling's implementation. On the evening of April 13th, U.S. Department of Justice lawyers asserted that the government was not obligated to work with Salvadoran officials to return Abrego Garcia. They argued that their interpretation of facilitate only required the removal of domestic obstacles that might hinder his return. In a 7-page filing, U.S. Department of Justice lawyers wrote, "Federal courts do not have the authority to order the executive branch to conduct foreign affairs in a specific manner or to cooperate with a sovereign nation in any particular way. In a report submitted to Judge Shinnis that same day, a senior official from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) stated that Abrego Garcia was no longer eligible for deportation deferral because the administration maintains that he is a member of MS-13. This declaration, made by Evan Katz, an official from ICE's Enforcement and Removal Operations Division, means that if Abrego Garcia returns to the US, the government will promptly move to deport him. A new hearing on the case is scheduled for the afternoon of April 15th. President Trump has recently shifted his stance on Abrego Garcia, after initially stating he would comply with the Supreme Court's ruling. Last week, Trump told reporters, "If the Supreme Court orders someone to be brought back, I'll do it. I respect the Supreme Court.